What's going on, guys? Jordan here. I'm excited to welcome back Colin Plume onto my channel here. In this interview, we talk about how to best invest your money in gold and silver while the market's a little stagnant right now. And not only that, but we talk about this, a commemorative Trump coin that his company sells, and we talk about the censorship that his company dealt with for selling these. Check it out. How's it going, Colin? Thanks so much for coming back on.
Thanks, Jordan. Glad to be here.
Always appreciate your investment advice, your advice on precious metals. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great day.
Well, cool, man. So lately I've seen a lot of articles and news about the fact that gold is essentially hitting its peak. And when you think of a scarce resource, something that has a finite amount to it, I mean, eventually it is going to reach a point where we just can't mine as much as the demand is. So what are your thoughts? What kind of information do you have on what's going on with peak gold?
Yeah, so peak gold, and a lot of people, when they hear that phrase, they think, has gold peaked out? No, peak gold means the miners from all over the world, China, India, third world countries, Australia, they're having a harder and harder time finding gold. The price has pulled back. It's the lowest. The price of gold is the lowest it's been in 6 years. Silver is also well at or below mining costs at this point to even pull it out of the ground. So you've had mining production. If you go to the World Gold Council, they talk about mining production, and mining production has just been dwindling and dwindling. So you have less miners looking for gold, and some of the major countries like Australia are saying it's getting harder and harder to find it. And so that really creates an opportunity for people that are looking at long-term investments, because this is the time to get in. Unfortunately, if you look at statistics of gold buying for retail buyers, they typically will buy when it's going up dramatically, or it's already gone up pretty precipitously. A good example was in 2011, they sold more silver eagles in 1 year than they sold in the 2 years before that, yet silver was at its highest point. So this idea of peak gold is a way for people to kind of understand that they're having a hard time pulling it out of the ground, and it may be a good time to diversify because the price is pretty low right now.
Right. We want to capitalize before the increase happens, not halfway through. Then you can only make half the return.
Exactly. And that's unfortunately what happens. There's the bull and bear mentality in every market, stock market, precious metals, commodities. And a lot of people, unfortunately, are too late into investing and they miss an opportunity. And so, that's why when you see these statistics come out, and, gold isn't just used for jewelry. It's not just used for an investment. It's not just used as a currency in a lot of places. People deem it as a currency, but it's also used in a lot of medical devices. Those uses continue to grow. It's a good conduit. And so there's a lot of just industrial needs for gold. And so when the ability to find it gets harder and harder, they use it in iPhones also, and cell phones. So there is a physical need beyond just you and I buying coins and bars that will never go away. And that's going to also continue to help the price and push the price up over time.
And is that the same with silver too, actually being useful as a resource?
Absolutely, yeah. Silver, tremendous uses. Yeah, cell phones, solar panels, pretty much
health supplements, colloidal silver, even.
Yep, yeah. Everything in solar energy, green energy, they use. I think we talked a few months ago about how California passed a law where they're going to require everybody to have solar panels by 2020 or 2021. So that use is going to continue to go up. But when you look at the prices, they're still at such a low point. Silver is unbelievably low. So I think there's a pretty big opportunity for someone that's looking to, if you like to buy low, I think the opportunity could be there.
And that's good to know that there's actual uses for gold and silver, because of course we have these paper Federal Reserve notes that we can't do anything with, but maybe wipe our butts or blow our nose into.
Right.
So yeah, gold and silver being useful, that means years from now, it's still going to have a high return. It's still going to be something people are looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think fiat money is becoming less and less desirable. I mean, that's really why the cryptocurrency market came about, is people want to move away from currencies that are tied into the banks. They want to
Hmm.
get away from, things like the Federal Reserve, and, they want to have control of their assets. And, obviously I think the more you can control your money, the better. The more in control of your assets, the better. So whether you're looking at doing this in an IRA or just getting some gold and silver at your home, I think both things right now are important, because the banks are getting stronger, and you really just got to make sure that you protect yourself.
Right. And I think a few months ago, we also discussed, I mean, this is something that's kind of been on the back burner, but still there, is the fact that we have legislation going through to potentially put us back onto a gold standard or
Yep.
some sort of asset backed
Yep.
currency. So if we're looking now, you're saying, okay, the price of gold and silver are really low. They're definitely going to be useful in future years because we even have legislation being passed through, for instance, California, saying, okay, we're going to have to use precious metals. And the fact that our whole currency system could be metal backed soon sounds like a good idea to get in.
Most states, if you go to our website at Noble Gold Investments, we have a number of articles. Most states that are forward thinking have laws where you can actually pay off taxes or pay off tickets with gold and silver. A
Hmm.
lot of states, Arizona, a lot of these forward thinking states are allowing people to use other currencies to pay off debts with the state. And so I think as a state, it makes sense. They'd rather get gold and silver than paper money that's just going to continue to lose value. So from a state's point of view, it makes a lot of sense to get these assets. They put it in their coffers, and then they have something that's going to go up over time. And so I think you're going to see people using instruments outside of the dollar more and more to trade and barter with.
Good. So you think that these precious metals, gold and silver, are good safe havens? I just saw an article this morning about it being a very safe asset to invest in.
Yeah, it's not when you look at gold and silver as investment, you're looking at something that, obviously gold's been traded for 5,000 years. Silver's been traded and used for thousands of years, and it's a perfect bartering instrument. When you look at different instruments for trading and bartering, all fiat money can just be printed out of thin air. The amount of gold that can grow in any year based on the mining is less than 1%. So that's why it's the perfect money. If you think about it, you don't want your money to grow more than that, and
Hmm.
that's something that holds its value. And that's the real issue. I mean, people today, if they don't look at the micro inflation that they're seeing on a day-to-day basis, they don't realize that that's happening, and the cost of every good is just going up and up and up. And there's so
Yeah.
many.
Dollar's been devalued, what, 99% since 1913. And I even remember, me being young, 10, 15 years ago, a gallon of gas was a dollar 50. Now it's
Absolutely.
$4.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
Hmm.
So, those are things that people forget about. So if they compare the dollar, they compare gold. Gold has obviously performed very well. And it's still, gold's about 60% lower than where it was in 2011. And silver's 73 or 74% lower than where it was in 2011. So it's at a bottom of the valley in terms of prices right now. And so, there's a lot of good factors out there for people that are looking to scoop some gold and silver up at some good prices.
Totally sounds like it. Sounds like it's a very good time to get into that. And quick question, shifting topics a little bit, I want to talk about censorship. I've heard you've
Yep.
had some dealings with that. I
Yep.
can relate very much to being censored, dealing with,
I'm
big
sure.
big
You,
corporations trying to hold you down. So tell us about that.
yeah. So we have our silver commemorative coin, the Trump Freedom coin that we're selling, and we had a bank basically that we have a number of banks. As a precious metals dealer, you have to be spread out because we're not in the mainstream in terms of business. We're not selling bonds and stocks, and when you're in a field that isn't in the norm, in an alternative asset, you can get some backlash. So we were prepared for this. I would say we were a little shocked when our account was completely frozen, and it was the account that we were selling the Trump coins out of. And basically, the account was frozen. They wouldn't give our funds back, nor give us any kind of explanation of why it was frozen. And last week, Friday, we finally got confirmation that we can finally move the account. They gave us no reason why. The only thing I can think of, and Charles and I can think of, is that they're not a fan of this administration, because literally there was nothing else that we were doing within this account except selling the beautiful Trump coins. And so, it's just the only reason a lot of people say don't go out and mention this, but I think people need to know that you can't be comfortable with having one bank, and you also have to look at what you're signing. When I spoke to the representative of the bank, they said that they can hold the money without cause and they can close the account without cause, which I think is something that's amazing when you're looking at a private institution, and basically they're putting their political beliefs before their clients and their business. And so, and this is not a small bank. This is one of the biggest. This is a bank that's been in business for 150 plus years, billions of dollars in assets, and basically just didn't want to do business with the Trump coin. And
how long have you been selling these for? Because they're new.
Yeah, I think a little less than 2 months, maybe. I don't even know if it's been that long.
That's very quick. Quick backlash you got there.
Yeah, it happened quick. It happened quickly. With us, we're always prepared for anything because we're in the being prepared business. So I think that it didn't stop anything. Coins are shipped. Nothing's changed, but it is one of those things that you have to factor. And it's 100% it happens. I've had other business owners that I've talked to that have had similar things happen, that do sell conservative products that are on the dealing with have a certain obviously we support Trump, and we have that out there. And so this is something that can happen when you're doing this kind of business. And so just basically telling people, be prepared, read the contracts, and make sure that you have your funds spread out. And this is exactly why we have a lot of our assets in precious metals, because then we don't have to worry about the banks.
Totally. And I mean, I can relate in the aspect of getting no reason or very vague reasons as why your accounts or whatever the case is are cut. I've been dealing with big tech, of course, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, etc. And every reason they gave me was basically a non-reason. It was this vague wording that, we're going to be able to shut down your account because of our terms of service, and we can say whatever we want and basically do it without due cause. So to hear you guys being hit hard for your political affiliations, because that's the only, like you said, it's the only thing that you can really boil it down to, is the fact that you guys were getting hit just because of your beliefs.
Yeah,
is that what we're really coming to? Is that what we're really coming to?
And I know you've gone through this a lot, and I know that you basically it makes you even more resolute in what you're doing. That's what Charles and I came to, and I'm sure for you, and I watch all of your videos, and I see sometimes after you get shut down and you say, you kind of have this look of like, listen, it's this is going to happen, and
you kind of smile. You kind of just smile on the inside. You're like, ha.
Yeah. So you obviously know that you're doing something that people are interested in. There obviously a lot of people are watching you, and they're trying to make sure that they can stifle some of your beliefs, which is against the whole reason that we created this country. And really part of the reason that we put this coin out there was because there's a lot of people that don't feel that they can just kind of express their political beliefs. And we've had, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but we've had so many people say when they buy the coin, like, don't tell my neighbor, or make sure it's in a nondescript package. And obviously it obviously is in a nondescript package. No one's going to know what you're receiving, but you'd be surprised how many people, especially like in California, have been, telling us in the notes, like, I don't want anyone to know what this is. And it's because they don't feel like they can express their political beliefs. And
that is so sad.
It's
even the mail people are getting.
Yeah.
They're scared. They're scared to share what they really feel and support inside.
And it just makes us more emboldened in terms of what we've done. And I think that it's great. People are going to get them. They're giving them gifts for Christmas, and they're giving them to friends. And listen, I think ultimately the facts are on the coin. The economy is roaring like it's never roared before. The Dow hit 26,000. Unemployment, the lowest it's been in almost 30 years. So, the coin it's nothing. There's nothing fabricated on it. It's actually what happened this year in the economy, and those are great things, and we should be excited. And I know everybody's feeling it in their pocketbook, at least for now. So that's definitely a good thing.
Well, hey, man, I appreciate all the knowledge you shared with us here. These coins are awesome. Appreciate you sending me one. They're
Absolutely.
really neat.
Yeah, for sure. And make sure when people, when they go to acquire the coin, make sure they put Jordan in there. They save $5 per coin, which is a 15% savings per coin. So make sure they put that in there.
Awesome. I'll put that in below this video description.
Absolutely.
So, cool, man. Appreciate you handing that out to my followers, my subscribers.
Absolutely.
And we'll definitely do this again soon. Appreciate it.
All right, Jordan. Thanks. Bye.
All right. Take care, Colin.